I'm up. Hi. Hi, I'm awake. um, Yesterday I was up real early, and the day I kind of woke up late for me. Um, whew. And what woke me up was the instrumental song. Oh, hello, hi, hi, hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Miriam. I'm an oracle. I speak with the angels. I am an intuitive. I speak with whoever I get these messages from, that because usually people know better than me who they're receiving them from. But if you're seeing my face, it's because you're supposed to see something out of this raggedy head today, and which means it's gonna come out whatever way it comes out too. So much love beforehand. What I'm hearing when I wake up just this morning was the song "Star of the Ego, Feed the Soul" by Glitch Mob. It's all instrumental. There's no words, but I just kept hearing the. I can't do it because it's all instrumental, and I, I can make the noises, but that isn't how it goes at all. But essentially, it's a dubstep song. Um, no words at all. Um, so maybe you've gone back to, or maybe you usually don't listen to words in songs, or maybe you've gone back to listening to songs without words, whether it be classical music, instrumentals, dubstep. And so that might be why. But the song itself is called Starve the Ego, Feed the Soul. And so all I could think of the whole time is how perhaps feeding the ego has been a little too prominent. Um, and some part of me feels like you know that, like you feel that, like you're, oh, it's about time for me to start cutting my ego off a little bit. My ego was well fed, and there's this whole like, there's a lot of beliefs, like murder your ego as brutally as possible, and get rid of them so then you have your truest self there. Um, I also kind of like have like a humane society in my soul that I can send the egos off to get rehabilitated. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna have a huge ego. Everybody is eventually. That's the point. You keep breaking them down, and they are like the Highlander, okay? Until you just have one giant, massive ego to work through. Right now, you just have a lot of egos around, and you've been feeding all of that a bit more. And it's like, so like for me, a big ego for me is I was a very big people pleaser. I still am. Every once in a while, I still find myself pleasing, and I'm like, actually, you know what? That wasn't for me, and then I have to deal with the repercussions afterwards. Even after you are able to brutally get rid of an ego, it's still possible for those egos to return in a different form. Because from day to day things change so much, like even in our mental state and our emotions and our essence. That's understanding your attitude number in numerology really helps you understand what essence you're dealing with for the day. Like, am I in the mood to argue today? Because sometimes people are literally just in the mood to argue, and 8 day is a really big day where people might be a little bit more argumentative, even though they're supposed to be a bit more agreeable. And it's because when we need an attitude adjustment, we're often doing the thing that's working in opposite of that energy. Say if you're currently in a 2 attitude for that day, because your attitude number changes every day, every month, every year, it changes. Um, and so if you're in a day of 2 and you keep trying to plan stuff and you keep getting frustrated because you just can't seem to get it all together, and it's because you weren't supposed to be planning that day. Yesterday, the day before, which was a 1 day, is a great day for planning, and you had all your chances to plan on that day, and yet instead of planning, you did other stuff, and now you're trying to plan on a day that, because sometimes on a 1 day you don't want to plan. All you want to do is start stuff and finish a whole project. But guess what? A beginning is simply a beginning. You are not meant. You can finish the beginning, but you don't get to finish the whole thing. Why is my pinky so far away? Why did I put my feet? It's just the beginning, okay? And so that that distance to the end is still there. No one would ever get to the end of a journey if that journey was never started. And so accepting that each step of the journey is simply that. That is that step. Do it properly or don't. So sometimes you step in on your journey and you step a little wrong and you roll your ankle a little bit on that day, and that's okay. You just got to give yourself a beat, take a break. On 8 days, if you are somebody who's going to start looking at your attitude numbers, on 8 days, there's a free numerology app. It's not my app. It's not my app. It's numerology. A lot of it's free. A lot of it can be paid for too. If you want more stuff, like they go into crystals and colors and like gives you your whole calendar printed out for you. If you want that for free, you can go to Affinity Numerology or something .com, and that's all for free. But you could get the app where it tells you your days for free, your months for free, your years for free. It's called Numerology. It's going to be like a circle with like cosmic circle with like purple triangle rainbow on the inside. It's purple mainly, but there's like some rainbow gradient within the triangles. There's like 4 triangles making up one big triangle. The 4 triangles are within the triangle. Not my app. I am pretty sure that the only reason why they started charging for it was because of how many people downloaded the app after I've been spreading the word. So, because mine is pretty free, way more free than other people's. I only have to pay for like a couple things, and everything else is free for me. Okay, done with that part. Get into your attitude, starve your ego, feed your soul. Ways to starve your ego: lose convenience in your life. Whatever is convenient for you. If it's going to take you 4 seconds to do it right now. Way easier said than done, though. It's literally an ego that's been with you for however long it's been with you. And so it's a habit, you know. You get stuck in a habit. And that's okay. Because that's what the ego is meant to do. Like we're in cycling circles and moving forward. So it feels like a lot of times, because we're moving in the same shape, that we're staying in the same spot. And sometimes we are staying in the same spot. Sometimes we go back and forth like this. Maybe sometimes we're not continuing to go in the same direction. We're going back and forth to really like saturate that area. And that's okay. Okay? Look, I'm here to yell at you, but also let you know it's going to be alright. I haven't yelled once this time. I have this little music box. It says Queen. It's not my music box. I stole it from a child. A child gave it to me, and I just never gave it back. Like stealing candy from a baby. Like stealing a music box from a kid. You know? Like, perhaps during this time, recognizing what things that you naturally don't want to do, and not like stuff like, oh, you know, I'm trying to be nice to somebody because, oh gosh, I am sweating. Ew. Understanding where to let go of certain things, like, so people pleasing is an ego, is something that is a control thing for us, for people who please. And not in the fun way, like, hey, I'm giving to you because I love you and you've given to me and it feels good and I feel better afterwards. A lot of times, like when you're people pleasing, or even that word, those words, people pleasing, it just, it's kind of like it just doesn't have a ring to it. Anyway, it's draining your energy, and lots of times whenever you're in that state, you still aren't getting the result that you want. You're still wondering, well, do they like me? Well, do they like me? Well, do they like me? And like the reason why it went off whenever I was saying that. And the reason why you're wondering that is because you don't even know if you like you whenever you're doing that. And you know that you're not being true to yourself whenever you're doing it. So you're always going to be wondering, do they like me? Because I wasn't being me with them. They like the thing that I'm pretending to be, but like, I'm not that helpful. Like, look at the people that you love in your life and see how you treat them. What I notice is a lot of people pleasers tend to be a little bit more like, how do I say this? Not that nice. Not like you're mean, but like, you got an attitude. Like, the people that you're with and that you love and you trust that you can be yourself with, you're like, no. Man, why are you bringing that over here with me? Because you feel comfortable. And you don't feel like they're going to leave you just because, or not want to be around you anymore just because you chose to be like true to yourself in that moment. And be like, the fuck? Because sometimes it's the fuck. Like, what? Why are you talking to me like that? It was 11:11 as I was saying that. Who are you talking to? But yet, in that moment, you're like, okay, I got you. I'll do it. The thing or whatever. But in your head, you're like, who the because I know me, but they are. And it's because you've allowed that. You being you is the name of an ego. Who's on third base? Anyway. So if you're here in general and seeing my face, a lot of people who have been coming to see me are quite people who understand a lot of esoteric things, who understand chakra work, who understand what egos are in general, and really finding ways to even find the egos that seem like they're harmless and saying, hey, what are you doing? Do you actually like doing that? Because it just doesn't seem like you like doing that. Sometimes our egos are just sitting in there being like, you're not good enough. Just repeating whatever things that you heard about somebody else or from somebody else, like things that you're worried or things that you said about people. Because honestly, ain't nobody perfect. We all be gossiping. We all be talking mess about people. And whenever people do gossip, a lot of times what remains in us after we say something is, I wonder who's talking about me like that. But if you're moving in a way, and I think this is something that has become so innate for you, is moving in a way like literally treating people the way you want to be treated, golden rule. But also, it isn't even about treating people the way you want to be treated sometimes. It's just treating people the way that you want to treat people. Or the way yourself wants to feel after treating someone, whatever way you end up treating them. And what you've noticed is that whenever you treat people the way that's actually true to yourself, you don't have any thoughts in your head at the end of the day. You don't have anything to ruminate on or reflect on. You're good. But even whenever you're out there doing stuff and making people happy and smile and they're so happy, you're going to still ruminate on it. And think about, if you're thinking about how you could have made them happier or how funny you were, all these positive things, but you keep going remembering the joke that you said that made everybody laugh because it's something that it's validation that you need, that your ego needs to continue to pump itself up. But in that moment, although yes, you wanted people to be joyful and happy, perhaps you were wanting to make them laugh and make them happy because you want people to like you, as opposed to simply just being funny in the moment. You were turning it on. You were turning on a performance. And that is an ego thing. You're okay. You're allowed to perform. You're allowed to be somebody else. You're allowed to do all those things. It's just observing what is draining you. And the thing is like, we are going to spend energy. We are meant to spend energy. We're meant to get it in and spend it, and it's currency. It's just about having a purchase that you feel happy about, or a purchase that that was an impulse spend, and now I have this thing here and I don't even want it. Goes down. We just okay. And so perhaps you've been impulse spending when it comes to like, oh, why do you really want that piece of candy? Because it's sweet and it tastes nice, but then you feel like garbage afterwards. So you're like, okay, I really do want to please this person. So I please this person, it tastes nice in that moment, but afterwards I'm like, because now whenever you're people pleasing outside of what your truest self is or something that's authentic to how you always move, you have to remember how you moved for that person to continue to please them, even though they would have been pleased with you in the first place. And if they're not going to be pleased with you, then bye. IDGAF. Okay? I just don't care if you like myself or not, because I like myself. My eyes are meant to follow myself. My leader in here is supposed to be my truest self. And there are plenty of times that I allow my eyes and egos to lead. You know that song by Incubus? Incubus. You know that song? Drive. Hold the wheel, drive. You know that one? If you don't, go. I am very hype all of a sudden. This is why I do these. Now, this is my coffee for the morning. By the way, I don't do no caffeine. I just never really have. I mean, in the past, I used to drink a bunch of Monster Javas, and would wonder why I was so anxious all the time. But I'm caffeine sensitive, so that's why I don't drink it. It's not because I'm cool. It's just because I get scared when I drink coffee. Maybe not scared. I get too jittery, and then I'm just sweating. I already have a sweating problem, so I don't need any more of that. Anyway, now I'm just talking about my life. Okay, y'all. Starve the Ego, Feed the Soul. If you haven't heard that music, that song, you can listen to it. It's by the Glitch Mob. What was the other song that I talked about? Well, I'm hearing I got noise. Well, I'm hearing I've got new rules. I'll count them, like that song. But then the song No Roots in My Home mixed together. I'm not going into that right now. I don't know what's going on with that. I had time to wake up hearing the song in my head and be like, wait, who's singing that? And who's that for? But anyway, starve your ego, feed your soul. Easier said than done, of course. If you do want any like help with that, let me know. We can. I do the EAO except not so fast. Wait, no, sorry. Okay, so there's a syllable for each, a vowel to say, and there's also mantras for each chakra, but the vowels are the thing that I stick with, so then I don't have to remember a syllable. And as I was walking through the story of I see it, I can see it, I can see it with crown and I am saying something. Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Ooh, I'm so excited. I want to do something. Is the two together. Is your ooh and your o together. It's like, is your and pleasure is release. And this is going to be this is the last thing I'm saying. This part, what I believe the of the snake is passing gas. The light went off whenever I said that. So I think it's easy for us to remember that we have a snake in us, because whenever we're happy, she quiet. But whenever we're scared, sometimes we'll be like, I'm so sorry, y'all. And that's how I choose to end this, okay? So I'm leaving y'all with a fart. Much love. But much love. It's, you can't smell it. I didn't let it out. I'm just letting you know that the is the fart. And so when we're comfortable, we're able to pass movement. And when we're not and we're scared, sometimes we pass movement and then just we're done. But anyway, we're done. I'm done. I'm done. In the meantime, lovies, I'm going to go do work. I'm going to do whatever I'm doing for the day. In the meantime, you keep an eye out for those numbers, okay? And stay synchronized.